question for you. If you ever made the zombie recipe from either of these two books and tried it and thought, I'm not too sure about that, well then you're not alone, because there's a few things here. Firstly, the zombie should be one of the most revered rum cocktails, but it's really not. Not many people talk about it in comparison to a Mai Tai, for instance, in comparison to a pina colada or even a daiquiri and mojito. But I think the main thing is the recipes in these two books aren't actually that good. So in today's cocktail dissection, I'm going to be taking the zombie, I'm going to be making both of those recipes, and then I'm going to be putting my little spin on it to try and fix it and to try and bring it more up to mass market appeal. Now, the zombie is a funny one for me, because when I probably put this out to you guys the last sort of month or so, asking for suggestions, what cocktails to deep dive and dissect, the zombie won by a landslide. The zombie is on everyone's lips. And yes, I've done the pina colada and the Mai Tai and all those other cocktails. It's people want to fix this cocktail. And I'm yet to come across anyone that really, truly loves it. And, you know, it's their be all and end all when you compare that to a Mai Tai or a pina colada. Now, the other thing at play here, if you went, and I'm talking from UK experience here, I don't know what this is like in the US. Perhaps you US viewers can comment towards this. But if you went out into the UK and saw a zombie in the menu, which it does happen quite frequently, I absolutely guarantee it is not this recipe or the original Don the Beachcomber recipe. I've seen all manner of things called a zombie, but traditionally most of them have a lot of tropical fruit juice in them, whether it's passion fruit, whether it's mango, whether it's pineapple. And Don the Beachcomber's original recipe from circa mid-1930s, 1934, 1935, is nothing even remotely close to those. Now, before I go any further, yes, I am going to be making both of these recipes in here. But what I want you guys to do, that people, especially those of you that love a zombie, I want you to put your zombie recipes in the comments below. But if you make one of these, I just want you to write Team Beach Bum or Team Martin Cate. Now, the recipes in these books aren't wildly different, but it is worth noting that Martin Cate has changed his slightly and made it slightly sweeter, but it's still not quite what I'm looking for. Today's video is sponsored by me. If you had a chance to download my free rum ebook yet, if not, you'll find the link below in the description of this video, or you can scan the QR code that's popping up on screen right now. My free rum ebook gets updated twice a year and it's packed full of interesting information and tips of how you can enjoy rum. It also includes a few basic rum cocktail recipes, plus how to make one of my favourites. This is a dragon fruit and papaya daiquiri. So what are you waiting for? As I said, you'll find the link in the description below, or you can scan that QR code. Right, back to the video. So to start off with, I'm going to make beach bum berries, which is, as far as I understand it, as close to Don the Beachcomber's original recipe from 1934. Obviously, the rums are open to suggestion, and obviously, nearly 90 years on from that, the rums are going to be dramatically different to what the rums were available back in those days. But it's worth noting that both Martin Cate and Beach Bum Berry do go down the realms of similar rums, bearing in mind they use categories and not actually call for specific rums. So I'm just going to start off and I'm going to make Don the Beachcomber's original Beach Bum Berries recipe from here. So first up, we're going for 22.5 ml of lime juice. And then interestingly, we come on to what is called, I think it's called Donn's own mix. Yeah, Donn's mix. Right. Now, again, this is different between the two books. Donn's mix traditionally is grapefruit juice, white grapefruit juice, which I'll be honest is a right pain in the backside to get here in the UK. Pink grapefruit juice, not a problem. White grapefruit juice is really hard. But I have managed it. I have got a couple of white grapefruits that I've juiced out. So I've got a couple of there. Whether it'll be enough to do this whole video, I don't know. I'm hoping so, but we've got some. But Donn's own mix is white grapefruit juice and cinnamon. But it's important to note that the traditional, the old school Don the Beachcomber's recipe is, what is it? It's 10 ml to white grapefruit juice and 5 ml to cinnamon syrup. And you'll see the difference in Martin Cate's in a minute. So, and normally this will be pre-batched because he does use this in quite a lot of cocktails, but I'm going to keep it separately. So we're going to do 10 ml. Let's swap jiggers. Let's go back to this one because it's easier. 10 ml of white grapefruit juice. And then I'm going to do 5 ml So this would be 15 ml in total of Don's own mix, but 5 ml of this cinnamon syrup. And if you're wondering what the difference is, one's US, one's UK. The UK one is lined every 5 ml and every 10 ml at the bottom. The US one is just lined at 15 ml and sort of like 45 ml in there. So I use that one for accuracy and that one for the big measures. Then when it comes to the grenadine, as I say, I use pomegranate syrup for my grenadine, but it says a teaspoon, which is near as damn it as a bar spoon. Bearing in mind this is a proper bar spoon, a proper sort of 5 ml bar spoon. You do get a lot bigger bar spoons that are like 10 ml, but essentially you want about 5 ml if you can do it of your grenadine. So this is pomegranate. As I say, a lot of grenadines will be red fruits, raspberry, you name it, but I'm going just pure out pomegranate. Now another one of Don's ingredients is Herbistora. I did used to have like Herbistora made up in a bottle and use it, but I don't actually use it that often. So, and it just went a funny colour. So I just don't anymore. I've got my, this stuff lasts for flipping ages, whether you go in Puerto or pastis or whatever. This is my Cornish pastis and I love it because it comes in half bottles. I've had this now for a couple of years and I'm just about there. So just also want for this. So Herbistora is essentially a blend of Angostura bitters and your Pernod, your absinthe, those kind of flavours. But from this, what I can actually do is use a pipette to do 6 drops of my pastis. It might have been 7. I don't know. And then I'm going to do, what was it? One dash of Angostura bitters. Now let's talk rums for a second here. Now I'm going to keep this pretty much standard. Remember, you know, I'm going to give you the terminology that's in both of these books here for a second. So first up, we're going for, so in Don the Beachcomber's original recipe, it's a gold Puerto Rican rum, a gold there. Now I was originally thinking Don Q Gold, but then I kind of remember kind of what I've used in previous videos. And to kind of relate this, so we've got the same, Martin Cate calls for an aged gold Puerto Rican rum. So I've gone for the Don Q7 there. And then we want, so to cross over again, in Beach Bum Berry's remix book, so Don the Beachcomber's recipe, we've gone from aged Jamaican rum, whereas Martin Cate calls for a blended aged rum. I think Jamaican rum is pretty much what you're looking for in here. I have never been to Smuggler's Cove in the US, but I'm pretty much assuming it's a Jamaican rum that's gone in there. So yes, I could have gone Appleton 8-year-old. I don't think you want anything too funky like Smith and Cross or Hamden 8 or anything like that. But I've gone for Appleton, the signature there. And then it's the 151 Demerara rum. Both recipes call for this. Now, it's really hard to get a 151 Demerara here in the UK. We have got Pussers, and I have got Pussers over there. 15 Pussers Select, which is a 151. However, I think pretty much the standard is the Plantaray OFTD. So that's the rums that I'm going to use for both of these cocktails. And the ratios are the same for both cocktails. So I'm going to do 30 ml of the aged gold Puerto Rican rum. And that's a boo-boo straight away. That's 45 ml. Sorry, I'm thinking about it. I'm doing the 151. It's 45 ml of the aged. And then it's 45 ml of the aged blended rum, whether you're going Jamaican. I think you're probably much better off doing Jamaican. So we've got 2 lots of 45 ml. So we've got 90 ml so far in there. And then it's 30 ml of your, wrong corks, there we go. 30 ml of your aged 151 Demo or black Demerara rum. This is, you know, this is a 69% ABV rum. It's not too far off for being, you know, close to 150 proof, or 151, I should say, 151 proof. This is pretty much the standard. Now, just going for the crushed ice. Both recipes call for about 6 ounces of crushed ice, and then I'm going to flash blend it. Now, before I get on and taste, we might as well make Martin Cate's version here, which is a couple of little tweaks. So we're going 22.5 ml of lime juice, which is the same. The tweak is on what we would call Don's own mix. And instead of the 10 ml of grapefruit and the 5 ml of cinnamon, we're going equal measures. So we're going for 7.5 ml of white grapefruit juice and then 7.5 ml of cinnamon. So obviously 2.5 ml might not seem that much, but obviously this is going to be slightly sweeter than beach bum berries from Don the Beachcomber's recipe. Going to do the same amount of the grenadine. And then Martin Cate actually calls for 2 dashes of Herbistora. So I'm actually going to do the same as what I did in the previous cocktail. So 1 dash of Angostura bitters and then 6 drops of my pastis. Here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 7. I think I did 7 in the first one, so 7 in the second one again. Now, before I get into the rums, there is an interesting addition because we have got an added 15ml of Velvet Falernum from John D. Taylor's Velvet Falernum. Now, obviously, this is sweeter liqueur. It's a syrup. It's 11% ABV liqueur, if you like, but people do class it as an alcoholic syrup. It has got that lovely sort of limey, almondy, clovey, nutmeggy thing going on there, but it is sweeter. So inherently, this cocktail should be sweeter. 15ml, half an ounce of your Velvet Falernum. Then I'm going to do exactly the same as what I did in the rum. So 45ml, let's get it right, 45ml of our Don Q 7-year-old. We're going for 45ml of the Appleton Signature Rum. You know, the rums could make something like Chairman's Reserve Legacy could make a huge amount of difference in this cocktail. But I'm just comparing like for like at the moment. And then 30ml of essentially, you know, our 151 Demerara, but this is, as I say, 69%, and it's really good. Now, tasting them, I've just basically added a little bit of crushed ice to them, not too much. Tasting both of these cocktails side by side, there is a huge gulf. That extra, this is Martin Cate's, this is Don the Beachcomber's, so Beach Bum Berries. Just so you can, that way round, you know. There is a huge gulf between that recipe and that recipe. That 15ml of Velvet Falernum does make a huge difference. This is just strong rum, unbalanced, if you like. It's just... It's not my choice of rums that I've used in there. It's just purely that there is too much rum for not enough flavour going on. Whereas this one, there is, for me, obviously too much rum in there. You can never have enough rum, you could argue, but that's a lot of rum. What have we got? 120ml of rum compared to probably 50ml of 60, where are we? 65-ish mil, give or take, without doing the proper maths, of mixers. So, and then yes, you've got a bit of crushed ice, but that for me is a better cocktail. Martin Cate's is a better version of the Zombie to what that is. So how do we actually fix this cocktail to the point where you could confidently put it on a menu, and yes, it's going to do exactly the same job as what, you know, it's a booze forward rum cocktail, but without getting away from the essence of what that cocktail should be and how it's created. If you add mango, if you add passion fruit, if you add pineapple, it ceases to become what the Zombie was created for. So how do you fix it? How have I fixed it? Well, I have, and this is the recipe that I've used now for a good year to 18 months. And it's actually a very simple and easy fix. You notice there is a slightly different colour, but the rest of the ingredients aren't actually that much difference. All I've purely done is I've taken Martin Cate's, because for me, Martin Cate's recipe does, from Smuggler's Cove, does kind of hint that you do need a touch of sweetness to kind of balance this out. But what you don't get, whether it's our grapefruits or here, but what you don't get from in neither of these cocktails is the grapefruit. The lime overshadows it. There's a little bit of sort of citrusy there, but you can't tell it's grapefruit. And I'm suspecting that actually you probably could tell it was grapefruit from the original recipe. So with all that in mind, I've done exactly the same rums, exactly the same ratios. I've done the grenadine the same, what else? The Angostura bitters, the sort of Herbistora, so the Angostura bitters, and the Puerto, the pastis, the same in here. The difference that I've done is with Donn's own mix, and I think for the vast majority of you will actually make this easier. So to go back to the original, Donn's own mix is a simple blend of white grapefruit juice and cinnamon, And remember, the difference between Martin Cate's and Beach Bum Berries, so Don the Beachcomber's recipe, is that Don the Beachcomber's was 10 ml of grapefruit juice to 5 ml of cinnamon. Martin Cate's in this version was equal measures, 7.5 ml, so a little bit sweeter. What I've done, bearing in mind white grapefruits are impossible to get here, what I've done, because I've always got a bottle of this about, is simply swap the white grapefruit juice for grapefruit syrup. Now, yes, this is pink grapefruit. I totally get that. I totally understand that, hence the colour. But now what you do, and this, so 7.5 ml to 7.5 ml, yes, there's even more sweetness in there than Martin Cate's Smuggler's Cove in this one, but not dramatically sweet. Bear in mind, don't forget you've got 120 ml of alcohol in there. This just gives you that grapefruity tanginess coupled with a little bit of sweetness, and this is now a very delicious cocktail. I mean, I know if I put that on a cocktail menu or gave out samples of those, I know that one's getting picked. And I'm not saying that because I've made it. I know and appreciate this sort of mass market. These two are not great cocktails. It's the reason the Zombie is not that well revered around the UK for what it actually is. Without your cinnamon, without your passion fruit, your mango, your pineapple juices and all that sort of stuff. If you stick to the ethos of the base recipe, the original recipe, and simply swap that out for your white grapefruit juice, that is flipping delicious. Now, here's a chance for you guys to get involved in the comments below. Yes, you could swap the rums about. You could have a play about with the rums, but I didn't really want to do that in this recipe because this one is so open to interpretation, and I didn't really want to get that. We know we can naturally assume that these are the sort of core rums. And yes, what do you get in the US? Your Hamilton might be different. You might use a different rum, but your different Jamaican rum. But you might go Smith and Cross. I don't think this actually calls for a funky Jamaican rum. I might try it at another date. I've never really done it. I've gone for Appleton 8 generically in this, and it works a treat. I don't think you need to play about with the rums. I really don't. I just think you need to balance the flavour. And now the grapefruit is there with a little bit of sweetness. And for me, that's perfect. But I want to hear from you guys in the comments below. Do you change the rums up? If so, what rums do you use? And how have you made the Zombie your own? Let me know your recipes in the comments below. Let's build a community around this video. Let's kind of get the Zombie rocking. Honestly, I flipping love this. This is delicious.